Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension angel messages for November 10th through the 16th, 2025. So, as we begin, let's first start with clearing our minds and hearts and setting an intention for ourselves and for this reading. So just take a deep breath. Just release. And so what I'm seeing is sort of very concise. I'm seeing the word job, and what this seems to mean, and um, the I saw an eye, and the eye looked like it needed eye drops, but it's like one eye, so it's like the third eye. Your needs some healing, right? It feels like there's some kind of tension around the way that we are applying ourselves to our spiritual roles, as in our job, and that we need to just take very good care of ourselves spiritually, um, creating boundaries. And they wrote the word love, making sure that the way you carry out your role is loving towards yourself and towards others, to really trust your intuition. And they write that this is a very sensitive time right now, but they also write the word perfect, like it's the perfect, it's almost like we're right on course, and our level of sensitivity is intensifying. And this is on purpose. This gives us more clarity and more immediate feedback and wisdom about the way that we are operating in our roles, in our spiritual jobs and missions at this time. So you might, feel that it's very difficult to sort of to negotiate, your lives and your spiritual life and roles successfully. That was the word they had written. And so the thing is that you have to remember that everything comes through your spiritual role, your reality, and the roles that you have to perform, all the different hats you wear in the physical experience are guided and healed and resolved through your spiritual role. So, you know, um, when we see sort of an eye that's been stressed, it might be, like, and you need the drops, right? You might not be getting enough sleep, or there might be irritation. And so the combination of not getting enough sleep will make you more irritable, right? And also will create exhaustion. And so it makes you may feel like you're running out of fuel on a daily basis and just barely have enough energy. So your intention for this week is really to realign yourself with your spiritual role, and trust that your spiritual role will guide you to incredible solutions and more ease and more flow in your life. All right, so if you haven't already done so, let's like to welcome everyone who is returning to this weekly series. Or if you're recently new to our channel, or if you're just coming across our channel for the first time today, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, select the all notification bell, like the video, of course, and leave your comments. Also, if you would like to get an angel reading with me, be aware that my office hours are on Saturdays for now, after 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. There may be some availability during the weekday, but as it gets closer to, concerts and stuff, it might be a little tricky for me to be able to do that. So if you'd like to get a reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. You can find that in the description area beneath this video, and any other links that I might mention. If you'd like to support my channel with a donation, you can use my PayPal me link for angelic wisdom. Also, if you haven't had an opportunity to check out the monthly Ascension Angel messages for November, that will probably be one of the first links that you will see. So please check that out. And also, if you are looking for healing, my healing teacher for medical intuition and mentor offers weekly free healings on YouTube, and her link is below to her YouTube channel, which is Kim Seer, as in Seer. All right, so let's continue with our reading, and let's tune into the energies for this week. So I'm just gonna, because this is flashing here, I don't know, I am seeing the word lawyer, and a good lawyer. So I think this is to someone who might be asking the angels right at this moment in the recording stage. It's so interesting, how this all works, right? Time and space doesn't exist. And so someone who will be watching this, we're all actually watching this now, and while I'm recording it before it is published, maybe asking about that as a guidance. And so I'm just going to put that out there since it keeps showing up. And I get a sense that it could connect to multiple people, and they're saying in different languages, meaning different countries. And I feel like I'm seeing French, so it could be someone in that country. And they're writing that, or showing me that this is, a vulnerable time. And they want us to know that we're going to eventually get more comfortable with this new sense of, or heightened sense of vulnerability that we're all experiencing right now. And think of this era on the planet as a training ground for the new frequencies, for the new earth energies, where we live in more integrity because first, we're more accountable to ourselves through our own self awareness and through our accountability to others, recognizing that their self awareness is keenly um, attuned to all things. And so the use for manipulation, or let's just even put it this way, the white lies that we tell ourselves or we tell others, right? Especially the ones we tell others about ourselves, um, becomes no longer, well, this is the word they're trying to put through. Everything becomes transparent. And so the transparency is evolving and becoming even clearer. So this is one of the reasons why we're feeling so much, and that the times that we're witnessing is actually everyone feeling this, feeling the pressure of this transparency as we've been, living in this old paradigm where we were able to manipulate because, well, here's just simply put, the veil is just really, really, really thin right now. So the illusions aren't holding up anymore. And they write, it really takes courage to live in this new golden era that we're approaching, and that we're already, 1 foot in, right? And it takes courage to now have to be a full witness to everything that you are creating and that everyone else is creating. And so there's a faction on the planet of people who are struggling with that, and they are not even aware of what is happening. The people at the top, they're quite aware, and they don't want to let go of the old paradigm because they had the advantage, multiple advantages. And this new golden age balances all of that out. It distributes advantage equally through this piece of integrity that we're talking about and how it works with this transparency, and now feeling everything. So we're being given back sort of this sensitivity. It's a gift. It's always been a gift. And those of you who are watching, you've known this for a very long time. So your self-awareness has always been at a whole nother level than many others. And you got picked on for it so that you would shy away from it or feel bad about it because it made it seem like you were hurting everybody else, and they made you uncomfortable with just being real, true and in full integrity. And sometimes some of us, it's like you might have been vocal and it seems like, you're calling people out, and so you really get hit the hardest. And then there's those of us who are shy and sensitive, and yet just the glare of your eyes was just as loud as those who were vocal. And you were making them uncomfortable, not because you were doing anything, because you're just being true to yourself in that moment, meaning you were being totally grounded in the experience of what was occurring and that you were feeling and acknowledging what you were feeling, whether you were silent or you were outspoken. In the past, you were like these lone voices, but now everybody else is those who were not aware and still aren't, but the volume of this has been turned up to a very loud sort of experience. And so now everyone who doesn't understand what's happening to them, they're scrambling to hold on because the light is shining everywhere and there are no shadows to hide in. There are very few slim places left. And we have to have compassion in the sense that first we need to be aware, and I don't rather write and capitulate. We need to be aware of this before, I guess, it capitulates to even more intense places as those shadows, limited shadow corners become so tiny that, it's going to be like they're going to keep trying to crawl up into them, no matter how much limited space is available. And because it's fear based, people are going to be kicking and screaming and stampeding all over anyone else to get into those spaces because they don't understand that what the light is creating for them is room within themselves and around themselves to be themselves and to realign, that you don't need to manipulate, you don't need to take advantage or hold anything over anyone else, that there are infinite possibilities now available through the light, and there are alternatives, and there will be multiple alternatives given as pathways to exist within the light. And that will allow you to slowly come to appreciate this transparency. So you and I, we have to hold on a little bit longer. And we have to be compassionate and not judge, but understand what is unfolding, and that what you're actually watching and those people that you think are just horrible right now, you're watching a very accelerated, very intensified ascension rush. However, those who choose to resist to the bitter end or into the bitterness of what is going on with them, they will either pop off or will be on that path in a way that is very isolated, but in a sense, I feel like I'm hearing without power. without power or momentum, as when the universe finally cuts off all kinds of sort of energy feeds for this kind of reality, those who want to live in total ego and shadow, there will be no no feeds to support it. And so it will become powerless, voiceless. And then they will be in a sort of capsule of their own lessons. And these are some words I saw. There's another word at the very beginning, and I was like, okay, what is this about? Um, Maybe the other word will come back to me, but I'm remember there being a capsule of their own lessons where they will just have to, in the most clear and intense way, almost like a life review, sort of see what it is that they're doing and what they have done and where it will lead. Like, um, it was almost like, what was that movie, that TV, it was on Prime, The Wheel of Time. And one of the last scenes of the last season was this person just kept trying to see, um, it was in some desert. I don't know if you saw it. And basically, she was trying to see if she could overcome this evil person. And it just kept showing her like 1,000 different ways, but every time she was defeated, right? And so it's sort of like this, it will just keep showing them, like, until they realize that they have to um, seek out that alternative within the light. But it will not release them, because they will not be able to release themselves. No, they're not, the universe is not holding us captive. We are. And that's why feeling all this right now is that's the only thing they're doing, is now, turning down the shadows and turning up the light. When we were in the shadows, the ego had just a full range, and we could project, and we could get away with, and we could take advantage of, or we could feel sorry for ourselves, because victimhood is just as, we think of it as a disadvantage, but it's also taking advantage, in the same way that you might see someone who's being greedy and selfish and um, corrupt. you know all the aspects of victimhood are the same manipulation. Feeling sorry for yourself, loathing yourself, self-loathing. It's the same power play. Because for those souls who are always open to everyone's plight, the compassionate ones, if they don't hold a sense of their truth, can be easily manipulated by both in the same way. And both these, the victim and to say, the person who takes advantage of others, um, or the power player, both of these are not willing to go through their own, um, not willing to go through their own journey, right? Their own lessons, and heal, because that's what it's about. We've been, the whole karmic cycle is about our healing. And we all came here to do our work, to heal And when we rely on others through these sort of plot manipulations, um, then we are trying to put that responsibility, projecting that onto others. All right. Let's take a moment to take a deep breath. And it's interesting. They're writing the word Venus, where I see someone like um, sitting naked, but they have over the crotch area sort of um, a V shape, like as if to cover up. Now, I'm not quite sure if that's a negative or not, but it gave me a sense at first when I looked at it. My first sort of sense was um, that sort of a misuse of um, our sacral energy, our sexual energy, right? Creative energies, and that we need to connect to and bring through this sort of Venus higher love, cosmic love energy through our creative process, through our um, sexual um, energy and awareness and alignment and orientations. So our roles, right? And they right now our bodies is to love our bodies. Our bodies are a vibrational representation, extension of our souls. And learning to love your body. And I'm sort of getting this about there are parts of our souls that are deeply seated with parts that need healing. Let's put it that way. And wherever that shows up in your body, they want us to really love that process, love that part of us that we don't always show love to. And it's like mind, body, soul, right? It's all sort of, it all works together. So if your body is giving you a signal, it might be related to your mind, the mind aspect of your soul, right? Or the emotional aspect of your soul that is needing healing. As your soul has been traveling with you through many journeys and many manifestations. And we're in this time now where the soul is now taking a stand to bring healing, right? And so it's asking you for courage to allow those aspects of your soul to now heal, to come into alignment with the light, with your source for this auspicious time, which is this very insanely unreasonable time. All of this is a collective soul healing. And we have to love and embrace all the parts of it. By not just saying it's okay to be that way, but by saying it's okay and praying for everyone to find, and praying for yourself to find that path that allows you to restore wholeness and abundance, deep healing for the souls that you're witnessing, going through some really challenging and questionable time experiences. So Archangel Metatron, perfect archangel to come through and give us this incredible energy. And Archangel Metatron is actually a seraphim. So he's 12th dimensional. And so you can call him Seraphim Metatron or Archangel Metatron, it doesn't matter. But as you know, he works in the great central sun, Helios. So his frequencies are coming through from there. And you see that central sun energy behind him, that golden orange frequency that he has. And he's asking all of us now to really tap deep into your soul. And if you go deep into your soul, in that place, and he writes sofa, like that place within where you feel totally relaxed. Maybe you might even see this awesome room with this incredible sofa and incredible colors. And the room is filled with beautiful sunshine and orange gold light filtering through the room. And then Seraphim Metatron, on one of those golden rays, suddenly appears in the space as a big golden orange ball of light, and his wings expanded high and wide, which immediately envelops you. And he fully encloses you and takes you to Helios. And he downloads the keys and codes and qualities of higher ascension into every cell of your body. And he's just bathing you with light codes for your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. Just in an extraordinary shower of light that's just bathing you. And just soak it all up with a deep breath. And as you do, let it just fill up your soul. And notice how you feel. And take another deep breath and just let it fill up your heart. your cosmic heart and your higher heart. And he places over you his cloak, of protection. And now he takes you back to your special room deep within your soul, in the heart of your soul. And there, God, light, along with Jesus, overlights you. And the space with gold to seal in your aura and to place a seal around all the cells of your body to hold in the new codes that you just received. For your soul evolution and healing. Just allow yourself to be nurtured. And just open your eyes and know that these codes will be seated deeply and taking root in your soul and expanding through every process, every choice, every interaction. You'll be receiving messages and guidance, new levels of guidance. All right, so the cards were laid out from right to left. Let's take a look at the first card. And it's the Four of Swords. And I got this quite a lot this past week. So make sure that you take it easy, okay? You take it easy and, clear boundaries here. You need to walk away from something. Just walk away. Remember what your true role is. When you walk away from the things, when you walk away from confusion, then you leave yourself only to find the solutions. And that's the clearest way to say that. And the clearest way to say the alternatives come when you walk away from something. So do you need to stay? Do you need to keep, needling? Do you really need to be involved in the manipulative process, the power plays? No. Just walk away, move away energetically, separate yourself, let it go, pay it no mind, all the things that we've been told, and trust that the solutions will come when the time is perfect. Now, this card, when I saw it, I saw a lamp of enlightenment. So this Five of Cups is a card of grief, right? But maybe it highlights a wisdom here when we don't let go. We're just drowning and emotional grievances. And so we need to let those grievances go, or else we drown in them. And we have to make sure we don't let people just dump on us, right? Um, and just because this card is looking at this card, and I knew this card was going to be sort of the center of the reading and where all the wisdom comes from. So don't allow yourself to take on other people's grievances. Pray for them because they are in their own cycle of healing. And that's all you need. That's all you need to be concerned about. We have the Eight of Wands. So this gives us a sense of movement, right? And this card, I can just only imagine, because we see the sky, we see this focus where we are looking up and to the sky, and that these plants are just blowing in the breeze, right? And it gives us a sense of movement and flow. But here with this pattern where things cross, but just because they cross doesn't mean that they will stay that way. So there's a sense of keep moving towards it, and by the time you get there, there will be a clearing, an opening, and it might be, this is sort of like how illusions work sometimes, right? We see a mirage, we think, oh no, there's a big puddle of water, it can't go there. But as you get closer, it clears and you realize, oh, that's not at all what it was. So somehow something might shift in this week where you're thinking that these grievances are going to create sort of this particular outcome, but as you get closer, you realize that's not what's going to happen at all. So don't let your mind create, don't let that victimization and that manipulation from that place of always feeling like something's going to, you're going to get in trouble or something's going to go wrong for you. Don't let that victimhood scenario play out, because it's not going to be that way. All right, and let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck. So this is a card about, I think for me in this moment, like boundaries, right? And, holding up against, everything else is telling you that this is not the way it's going to go, right? He's standing above them. He has the actual clearer perspective and view of how things are going to play out. So you have to trust yourself. Again, go back to your intuition. You have to trust your intuition. You have to trust the leadership role that you've been placed in. And that means for most of us watching, you might be in a leadership role and you may not, but you are in terms of frequency. And your intuition is telling you that this is, what we need to be focused on, and this is how things are going to, the direction that things are going to move. The people below you can't see because they have not chosen yet to be aware. But if you hold your ground, you will reveal to them, right, that there is a higher purpose and a higher lesson and a higher wisdom that they hold, and that they can ascend to that level where you are. So you're not trying to keep them down. You're trying to bring them up by standing your ground, stand firmly in your light and shine it so that they can find the way to where you are standing, because you can't pull them up and you're definitely not trying to knock them down. Release the need to, they wrote, release the need to do the work for others by either putting yourself in their place in jeopardy, because what you're doing by coming down to their level, or by trying to bring them up, but you're lifting them. You can show them by simply shining your truth in a very powerful way. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have an incredible week. God bless you.